So I started in the trucking industry about 8 years ago. One of the most common questions I get is, Hope, are you a truck driver? And the answer is no, I am not a truck driver. But I am passionate about the blue-collar worker. My dad was a sewer pipe layer. He was the guy 80 feet down in the hole, the one doing the things no one's willing to do. And just like you, he was overlooked constantly. Sacrificed his body to get the job done, and unfortunately, he was not rewarded for that. And he struggles on a daily basis just to do basic things like wash dishes, put his shoes on, shower without pain. And that really inspired me to want to continue to help people just like him. And when trucking fell into my lap, I knew exactly the community that I was supposed to be a part of. After about 20 years in the yoga space, helping people in pain, I thought, you know what, I can take what I've learned with yoga and functional movement and be able to adapt it to truck drivers. Because many of you here today have probably thought about fitness, thought about health, thought about exercise, but everything seems so disconnected from what it is that you all have to do on a daily basis. And so that's where we come in. And today we're talking about mobility. Why mobility? Because we are meant to move. Many of you, although your wheels are moving, you are not. And as we get older, there's a use it or lose it that happens. And none of us can outrun that. But we can if we're more proactive. So what does mobility actually mean? It's the ability to move purposefully throughout the day. So if you take inventory of the moment that you wake up to the moment that you go to bed, how much of the movement that you're doing is actually on purpose? Like, I'm going to reach up overhead and I'm going to reach as high as I can because I know that if I don't do that, eventually I'll become 85 years old and won't be able to move my hand any higher than my shoulder. I worked in a nursing home for about a year teaching yoga, and there was nothing that these men and women wouldn't have given to be able to put their shirt on by themselves, reach their arm up overhead if someone asked them to, get up out of the chair. And if you don't get up out of the chair now, you will be in a chair for the rest of your life. And so take inventory right now of how much purposeful movement you do. See something on the ground? Squat down and pick it up. That counts. See something that you need to get out of a high cabinet, or maybe it's a tub. Can I reach with purpose to grab that? That's mobility. That's moving with purpose. And that's what we're talking about today. Now, for many people, because of your job, you're stuck behind the steering wheel. There's not a whole lot of extra things that you can do other than drive. So I want to show you where it is that you can fit little movements in throughout the day, every day, in minutes a day, so that you don't lose that mobility. So first things first, tightness travels. So if you have pain in your neck, make no mistake, your neck is actually not where it first started. Tightness typically starts in the feet. We walk around with these cool things. I got some cool kicks on. These are called casts. We have a fancy marketing label and we call them shoes. But when all you do is wear shoes all day, you are limiting your body's ability to use the muscles on the bottoms of your feet. You have 1/8 of the bones in your body in your feet. You have just a little bit more of that, of tendons and ligaments, than the rest of your body in your feet. How often do you walk around barefoot? If you don't use those muscles, now you have things like plantar fasciitis. Now you're hearing things like, oh, when I take my shoes off, my feet are so sensitive. That's why I have to wear them all the time. That's the worst possible advice anyone can possibly give you. If you break your arm, what does a doctor say? We got to get that cast off in 8 weeks. Why? Because we have to rehab those muscles. Why? Because they're atrophying. They're slowly dying. That's what's happening to your feet. So what's the solution? What can we do? We can mimic the natural ground. So not all of us have the ability to walk around on uneven terrain like our ancestors did many years ago to stimulate those nerve endings, to stimulate those muscles, but we can mimic that. So I need a volunteer. I know you didn't know you were going to be a volunteer when you came here. Awesome, come on up. We'll take 2 of you. I call them victims, volunteers, but we'll take what we can get. Want to come up? Yeah, come on up. We got 2 chairs. So you're going to have to kick your shoes off. I apologize.
Well, now you tell me.
I know. Come on up, take a seat. So one of the things that you can do every single morning or at the end of the day when your feet are pulsing and your feet hurt and you're like, don't touch them because it's so bad, this is one thing that you can do. So I'm going to have you take your shoes off, ladies. I'm going to give you each one of these guys. So this is just a little acupressure ball. We do sell them because I'm passionate about foot care, passionate about foot relief, but you could use anything if you really needed to, but we got to stimulate the nerve endings on the bottoms of the feet. So you're going to take that ball, and you're just going to start out by rolling out the bottom of your foot on that little ball. Okay, that's all you're going to start doing. You can decide the pressure. How does that feel?
Painful.
She says she loves it. And so
Okay, I love it.
yeah. All right, now I'm going to have you ladies stand up. And this is called a heel grind. Ball of the foot on the ground, ball is on the floor underneath the heel, and you're just going to grind that heel side to side on the ball. So you should feel like some crunching, maybe a lot of like little sand under there. I always think it sounds like gravel. It's supposed to hurt, yeah, it's supposed to hurt. And so that's a great testament, though, to you're not using the bottoms of the feet. All those tendons, all that connective tissue is almost like calcified. I look at it like plastic. If you don't use a body part, it becomes stiff and it becomes plastic-like. Now it's not going to do the things you want it to do. That's where the chronic stiffness comes in. Your body should be elastic-like. Okay, next one we're going to do is we're going to roll right down the center of the foot. So that's where the plantar tendon is. That's where a lot of you, when you're feeling like plantar fasciitis, and if you have calf cramps, what if it's not your calves? It's actually your feet. And so your foot is just so much connected to the rest of your body. And then the last one we're going to do is we're going to anchor the heel, and I call this the foot wave. The ball is going to be just behind the ball of the foot. I know that's a lot of ball talk. And we're going to wave the foot side to side. So if you have maybe like hammer toe or bunions, if you feel like your toes are curling up and they don't lay flat anymore, this is your body's telling you that you're not using an essential part, and it's just slowly kind of cramping up and becoming plastic-like. Now, after you've done that, just stand on both feet, and one foot should feel just really kind of, but it should feel a little bit more spread out, a little bit more connected to the ground, and the other one just kind of feels like a club foot almost. Yes. It's just kind of there, kind of stagnant. And the great thing about this is now you're stimulating blood flow. When you're sitting all day driving, there is a cutoff of blood supply from your hip to your lower body. So things like edema, things like calf cramps, clotting, all of those things are a concern. Whether they've happened or not, it's only a matter of time. So we have to stimulate the lower legs and try to bring that fluid back up to the heart again. So this is something easily you could do every single day. And yes, it does get better. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
You can do it in the truck even.
You could do it in the truck.
As long as it doesn't get under the pedal.
You know, I will not advise any of those things, but you can do whatever you would like at your own caution. Thanks, ladies, so much. You can go back and take a seat. I appreciate that.
I can actually feel my foot.
She said she can actually feel her foot again. So something to consider, something that's easy, practical, takes minutes a day. I hope you don't mind. I'm going to be walking around without my shoes on now. But if your feet don't move, the rest of your body is not going to move like it's supposed to. If you have knee pain and your feet feel like big pieces of concrete, you're going to, only a matter of time, you're going to feel like, I have bad knees, I have bad knees, I have bad knees. I've worked with thousands of people over the last 20 years. Less than 2% of them, I would say, actually had knee problems. It's all of the connective tissue, the joints surrounding the knee that is causing you problems. Fix that and your knee pain will go away. Foot mobility, you can tell we're kind of talking about this today. I'd love one more volunteer if you would mind coming up here, because I can show you stuff, but it's not nearly as fun. And then after the foot ones, we're going to do some stuff together. So can I have one more volunteer? Someone that wouldn't mind coming up? Awesome, come on up. You can come up too, girl. Come on up. And then don't worry, if you were wondering, do I have to participate? The answer is yes. And so come on up. And so if you don't mind, I'm going to have you take your shoes off. If anything, you walk away from the presentation today, you have to get your shoes off. You have to take them off. If you do not take your shoes off, your body will slowly stop moving. It will become more stiff, more back pain, more neck pain. Your body is meant to move. You have to get the casts off with our shoes. All right, so I'm going to have you stand up, ladies, if you're okay with it. So these are things you can do in the morning before you put your shoes on, so your feet are happier, less cramping, less tension, less pain, and before you go to bed. So the first one is the toe extension. So think about spreading your toes out, and you're going to roll up onto the ball of the foot as best you can. So for some people, it's like, whoa, my toes have never moved this way. I can't even do it. Start small. All right? So we're all going to be in the same boat. It's just it depends on where we're at. So that's the first one. The next one, you're going to roll over the toes and try to put as much pressure as you can. You got it. So do you kind of feel that through the top joints of the toes? So if you're a flip-flop wearer, it's going to be summer soon. It's snowing in Wisconsin right now, so it'll be summer soon. Yeah. And then do the opposite one. And so this is one you should be doing on a daily basis. If you can kick your shoes off, maybe you team drive, this is a great one to do. On your break, just give your feet a little rehab. We got some shoes off over here already. And then roll over the tops of the toes. But your toes are a really good indicator of what your foot health and your leg health is like. So you can test this tonight, see how willing your toes are to move. And then the last one is can you lift up your toes and spread them out? Like, how mobile are your toes? Or do they feel a little bit like club feet? Awesome, you ladies are pretty good. But this is another one on a regular basis that you can be doing every single day. Doesn't take a lot of time. I know this seems so simple, it's silly, but that really is fitness. It's what can I fit into my everyday life. It's not me going to the gym or me going to the yoga studio. I call all of that stuff bonus. But if you're not even moving in the other 23 hours a day, what good is that 1 hour you go to the gym? And I know a lot of people that do that, and they're more injured and more hurt than the people that don't. And so we have to fill in the gap of time with things like this. Thanks, ladies. I appreciate it. All right. We can do this right here. We're going to test our mobility. So first things first, we're all sitting in our chairs. You're going to take one of your feet, and you're going to tuck it back. And you're going to see if your ankle can extend. Now, I know we have shoes on, and if you have cowboy boots on, this is probably a no bueno because the boot won't let you. But see if you can extend through the top of the ankle. If you have shin splints, if when you're walking your ankle cramps up on you, your knees don't move like they're supposed to, whenever you're sitting down, this is what I love about functional movement and everyday life mobility. Stick your leg backwards. And just sit there and do this. And if you're wondering, well, what if someone will think something weird of me? Dude, I would rather be happy and healthy and mobile and let someone think I'm doing something weird than just sit there and let my body slowly stiffen up. And let's just do the opposite one right away. So we have to open up the ankle channel. The less your ankle moves, okay, so the less your ankle has mobility, the more pressure it puts on your knee joint. Because the ankle will dictate a lot of what the knee can do. So if you're having a lot of knee issues, you have to look to your ankles. So this is one ankle exercise you can do. The next one is we're going to stand up. This is called a functional calf stretch. All you're going to do is step your feet. It's a small stride. Don't go really long. It's a small stride, maybe about 1.5 feet or so in between. And then double check your back foot so that your toes are pointing forward. Most of us have tight outer hips, so that foot kicks out. So it's already a good sign. You're like, whoa, why is my foot doing that? It's because your hips are really tight. So we're going to push those toes forward, bend the front knee just a little bit. Now that leg doesn't move. All I want you to do is try to bend the back knee as much as you can without lifting the heel. Bend, 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 bend. Now for some of you, you're going to feel this down the front of the shin. You're a bigger candidate for shin splints. For some of you, it's in the back of the calf. Some of you, it's like, oh, this isn't too bad, and that's good. So we're going to hold this for about 10 counts. And then when you're doing this back at your truck, you're going to do that in 10 pulses. So so you're going to do long hold and then 10 pulses. Why? Because the calf is the hydraulic pump for the heart. So because you're sitting all day behind the wheel and you're not walking, the calf's not pulsating. So that means it's not pumping blood flow and lymphatic fluid back up to the heart again. So you are increasing cardiac challenges within your body by not walking around enough. Now we got to do the other leg. And it is not uncommon. Again, back toes forward, double check that back heel. If you're like, whoa, my balance isn't great, again, another bonus here we're looking at, balance as we age is essential. So front knee bends, and I'm going to bend that back knee, hold that for about 10 counts, and then keep the back foot flat on the ground. That back foot's not lifting, back foot's flat on the ground, and then 10 pulses. What you might be noticing here is these exercises and these movements are not complicated. I don't want movement and fitness and health to feel like brain surgery. But if you do each of these things or a few of these things every day throughout the day, in a week's time, you will notice a difference. In a month's time, you will feel different. In a year's time, you won't even recognize yourself. And so bring it back up again. For some of you, Charlie horses, cramping in your legs at night, you have to create more mobility in that lower leg. That is not an if, you got to do that right away today. So that's the ankles and lower leg. Let's talk about hips, knees, and lower back. You're stuck in a 90-degree angle position for hours at a time. Some of you the last 30, 50 years, some of you only a year and it feels like 50. So we have to open up. This is called the hip flexor. You're going to get a little anatomy 101 right now. So this is called the hip flexor. That's just kind of the layman's terms. But you have a muscle in here called the psoas. And that psoas actually comes up through your abdomen and attaches to your bottom rib like a kid hanging on a monkey bar that won't let go. Yay, right? And then every vertebrae down your spine to your sacrum. You have one on each side. So the more you're sitting in a 90-degree angle, that gets tighter and tighter and tighter. And if you sleep in kind of a ball position at night, that's because this guy's not releasing. This is so tight, even when your body relaxes, you recoil. You don't uncoil. So we have to undo that. So anytime that you have that you can stand up throughout the day, one, I want you to do that. But two, we're going to extend back. So we have to extend back to open up this hip flexor psoas. So step one, feet are going to be hips distance. Okay, toes forward. Again, the more the toes want to turn out, it's a sign that those outer hips are tight. We're going to talk about that in a minute. So feet are forward. Step two, give a little bend to the knees, because the tighter this is, it's going to lock up your lower back otherwise in this exercise. Step three, this is called a posterior tilt. Think about tucking your tailbone. I know you look weird right now, but you know what? You're going to feel better than they all are walking by. Press your hips forward as much as you can. Now shoot your arms up and reach back. Now we're going to do this 10 times. Here we go. So one, up the chimney with your arms, bend your knees, hips forward, and back to center. I didn't tell you this bonus is as a core exercise. Extension like this works your core muscles 10 times more effectively or 408% more than a sit-up does. So let's double down here. So again, the goal here is hips forward, hips forward, hips forward, and I don't care how far you go back with the arms. Let's go 5. We got 5 more here. We're committed to movement. 4, I want you feeling great today. 3, you got it. 2, hips forward, hips forward, hips forward. Last one, reach and extend. So what if when you woke up in the morning, you just did 10 of those? What if that's what you did? Not only did you work your core 400 times better than a sit-up in that movement, but you opened up this front channel of the body, because now for the next 8-10 hours, you're going to be stuck like this. And for some of you, you just realized you're also sleeping like this. So that's what? 23 hours every single day, day after day, you're in this position. No wonder you have back pain. So if you have pain in the body, here's a great little thing to think about for the next week. Look to the opposite side of the body and work those muscles. So if you have back pain, we need to look here. Okay? If you have upper neck pain, you need to look here, because the body is tricky. It's like a pulley system. So it's not always the place that you're having pain. We're going to do one more for the hips, knees, and back. And if you need your chair for a little stability, feel free to use that, because you're going to step back with one foot. Modest stride. We're going to be on the ball of the foot, balance challenge, and square the hips. Now the arm of the back leg is going to shoot up, 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 and try to come as far back as you can without popping the ribs out. So can I bring my arm up without bringing my ribs up? So if you feel like, oh, man, Hope, I can't do that, it's because your shoulders are so solidified and stuck. The only way to trick your mind into thinking you can lift your arm is to actually move your rib cage. So now once we're here, here's where it's going to get really fun, so get ready. I want you to bend your back knee, and now try to press the hip of the back leg forward. It's like, whoa, holy cats. And then bring yourself back up again. So that stability, opening the quad and the hip, is the knees. So if you have knee pain, we got to open up this guy. And now we got balance challenge. But good news, you have another side, so we're going to get to do it again. This is when you just thank me that you don't have 8 arms and legs like an octopus. All right, let's square it. Now the back knee bends, remember. The arm comes up without bringing the ribs up. We have to keep the ribs down. Reach, reach, reach. And now bend the knee a little bit more and press the hips forward. And as you press the hips forward, we're going to try to come back. That little shaking you're feeling, That's all your core stabilizers. That's all the muscles you don't use enough during the day, and then bring yourself back up. So what if when you got out of the truck or you got up, you just did that? Just 10 seconds on each side. Just open up the front line of the body. You have to extend back because too much of what we do during the day, we're flexing forward and it is hurting you. When I was a kid, I went to a small Catholic school and there was a little old lady that sat in the back of the church, maybe 85 or so, and her hump was so big on the back of her upper back, her head was lower than her chest. And that memory is burned into my mind and is a reminder to me that if I don't take care of my body now, I don't care how old you are, that I was going to end up like her. And I refuse that. And this is why I'm here with all of you today, because I do not want you to end up like the little old lady at the back of my school's church because she didn't know how to take care of herself. So let's open up and extend back so that we can bring life back to our hips, our knees, and our lower back. Hip mobility, external rotation. What is external rotation? When you're turning outward. Most of us during the day, we're moving in one plane of motion, and that's forward. Our legs never turn out. Our hips never turn out. We have 6 deep hip rotators in the hip. I know that doesn't really matter to you, but what I'm trying to say is you have a lot of muscles you can't even touch that's trying to turn your leg muscle, or sorry, turn your femur, your thigh bone, in your hip like a ball and socket. So if you don't externally rotate, your body is going to feel it. You're only going to be able to shuffle. We all know those older people that shuffle from the knees down. That's because they don't have good hip mobility. So I'm going to show you a standing one, then I'm going to show you a sitting one. If you need stability and balance, use your chair. So in the morning when you wake up, you're going to bring your leg up, out, and down. We're going to try to create hip rotation. And if you hear a clunking, you feel grinding, maybe a little popping, one of those deep hip rotators, or all of them, probably doesn't have the mobility it's supposed to. And usually, if you're driving a manual especially, one leg is going to love this and one leg is going to hate this. And then do the same thing on the opposite side. So in the morning when you wake up, we're going to extend back, we're going to work our feet, and we're going to rotate our hips. Okay, 10 on each side. The next one we're going to do is we're going to sit down for this one. So sitting in your chair, if you've been to my booth in the West Wing, you may have been a victim to our wheel and had to do this, but you know what? Everyone that's done this has not regretted it. Step 1, let's sit nice and tall. Step 2, let's do right leg. We'll all do the right leg. So right leg comes up. This is mirror image, so it's really my left. And just this action, you guys, it's like, whoa, my leg doesn't even want to come up. This is external rotation. Women like to sit a lot like this. Internal rotation. You're causing more harm and pain to what? The hip flexors. So guys, you already at least have a step in the right direction. So step 1, we're going to sit nice and tall. Step 2, take your right hand, and you're going to kind of grab your thigh muscle and try to roll it out, even if it doesn't move. And as you roll it out, push the leg down and slowly try to lean forward. Just as much as you can, but keep the spine long. We're not folding at the chest, we're hinging at the hip, even if it's just a degree forward. You should feel this in your lower back, possibly your inner groin, possibly your outer hip. It's all fair game, my friends. And so now once you come back up, step 2, take your left hand, this is where it gets good, underside of the foot and ankle, right hand to the top of the leg. Who can pick their ankle up and hold their knee in place? So this is a great little challenge. Again, how much can my leg externally rotate? We don't need to yank, but it's just a good little challenge, because what I would love for you to work to is when you're sitting, your knee and your ankle are fairly level, okay? Right now, if it's here, that hip flexor and that deep hip socket are a little tight. All right, the last one of this, take your leg up, up, up towards your chest, opposite hand, hold the outside of the knee. Now find the back of your chair, hug the leg and twist. Now you should feel this through your spine. Now we're getting rotation. Yep, go the other way, you got it. Rotate, rotate, rotate. This is my favorite. I do this every day. Back to center. Now you know that you're a pro. We're going to do the opposite side. Can anyone get their leg up without their hands? Winner, winner right here. Nice job. These are all little teeny mobility tests that we can be thinking about. How well do I do this? How much do I need to move my body for itself because it doesn't move on its own? All right, step 1, sit nice and tall. Step 2, hand on the knee. Step 3, with a long spine, start leaning forward, almost like you're trying to get your sternum over your shin. And as you come forward, press down on that leg as much as you feel like you can still breathe. If you're holding your breath, you're pushing too hard. The only difference between a tight person and what we would think a loose person is the loose person has to go twice as far to feel the same thing. That's it. That is the only difference. And then we're going to come up nice and slow with a long spine. Here's that rotation test, hand underneath the ankle. Hold that knee in place. Can I lift my foot off of my knee? Awesome. I'm impressed. Yeah. All right, last one. Hug the knee in. Outside arm or opposite. Turn, turn, turn. Look over the shoulder. Breathe. So how much can I get my lower spine to rotate? Like my belly button to turn. And then back to center. Release that leg. Whew, that feel pretty good? Yeah, all right, I love it. All right, we got one more for you, thoracic mobility. We could have spent 5 hours here today looking at every single joint in the body. If I would have had more time, we would have definitely dug into a lot more. But I want to talk about thoracic mobility. What is that? That's the torso and chest. That's this position. Like when you get into the truck in the morning, you're like, all right, let's do this. You're all upright. And like 3 hours later, you're like, oh my gosh, what the heck? I'm so tired. And we're rounding forward. So here's interesting research. People that have depression and anxiety and insomnia have more of a forward rounding kyphotic position. And the connection there is this position puts pressure on breathing and your heart. So your heart rate increases, your breathing is shallow, therefore you what? Are anxious. Therefore you're what? You can't take deep breaths, you don't have oxygen to the brain. People that are depressed and anxious, 85% of the oxygen that's supposed to be going to their brain isn't there. An easy way to fix that is open up the chest. Like you don't need a pill bottle to do this, you guys. You can naturally open up yourself and start getting more blood flow and more airflow to your body. I'm going to teach you 2 ways to do that right now. So sitting in your chair, I'll show you kind of like the phase 1 and then the full extension phase here. I'm going to move this clicker. So phase 1, we're going to sit back in our chair, hands behind our head, all right? Elbows pull wide. This is where you do get to pop your ribs out. And just adjust yourself in the chair so you don't fall back into the person next to you. And we're going to lean back as much as we can and pull our elbows back as far as we can out of our peripheral vision. That's your side vision. And use your hands to support your head. So lean back, lean back, lean back. You might notice your lower back muscles cramping. That's because they're tight. And they're like, what are you doing? You never do this during the day. So this is the first one. You got to go backwards. And then slowly bring yourself back up. If you're worried about turkey neck, if you're worried about forward head, this is going to be something for you. The next one is we're going to take away the arms. And we're going to use the arms as drivers. So let's make a fist. And you're going to use your thumbs. That way your mind only has to think about one thing. And push your thumbs down and back to the ground as much as you can. And as long as you don't have vertigo, if you have vertigo, keep your chin on your chest. If you don't, drop your head back as much as you can. And then bring yourself all the way back up. Whew, yeah. How many times a day do you do that? Raise your hand if you do that at least once a day. All right, we got 2 people, 3 people. I love it. That's great. All right, let's stand up one more here with thoracic mobility. Hands behind your head. Last one. Elbows pull nice and wide. Lower body doesn't move. How much can you turn your torso one direction, keeping your elbows wide? Like you can't see your elbows outside your peripheral vision except for the one that you're turning towards. And then the opposite side. Your lower body's not moving. Your hips aren't moving. Just your torso. Turn, turn, turn as much as you can. And again, if you feel your obliques gripping or your lower back cramping, those muscles aren't used to this. This is your body saying, oh, I'm supposed to do things. And then bring yourself back to center. We got one more here, and then we're going to draw for our raffle. Lateral spine. Most of the movement we do during the day, we're talking all about mobility right now, is forward flexion. So we've done extension work in the ankles, we've done hip rotation. Now I want to talk about lateral movements, sideways movements. You're going to take a seat in your chair. And when you take a seat in your chair, I want you to sit your legs as wide as they can go so you have the front of the chair exposed, okay? Once you have the front of the chair exposed, let's do left arm. So this is your left arm. It's going to grab the right side of the chair. If you're like, Hope, I have short arms, I have long arms, so it's an optical illusion. I can grab the outside of your thigh. I'm cool with that. So outside of the chair, relax the left shoulder down. The name of the game is try to get the shoulder to drop as much as you can. Right arm comes up. Now do not let go of the chair. Do not in any circumstance let go. And side bend as far as you can go. Keep relaxing the bottom arm. Now reach and try to touch the person next to you with your top fingertips. Don't actually do it, but you're that intention to reach. Do you feel that down the side of your body? Now here's where it's going to get fun. Don't stop on me. Turn your torso to the ground. Think about squaring your shoulders. And then turn your body open as much as you can. I know your oblique feels like it's ripping, but I assure you it's not. And then bring yourself up nice and slow. The rib cage should move independently of the pelvis. For many of you, it's not. We got to do the other side, though. So hand to the chair, turn your rib cage a little bit to the left. Left arm comes up, relax the bottom shoulder. Remember, keep dropping it. And now side bend to the right, but don't let go of the chair. There's that breathing thing, so make sure you breathe. And as you reach and push through the top fingertips, turn your shoulders down to the ground. Now we're in the lower back. And then turn yourself up and open. Now we're in the hip flexor and the oblique. And then slowly bring yourself back up. Roll your shoulders, bring your legs together. Just sit towards the edge of the chair for a second and just turn your body side to side. Just notice how you feel. Roll your shoulders, notice how you feel. Hopefully more mobility. All right, last one. This is an easy one. When you wake up in the morning, 10 arm circles. Think about swimming the backstroke. So it's palms in, palms out, and squeeze the shoulder blades. How far back can you go? If you hit the person next to you, bonus, that is just fine. And then we're going to do the same thing. If you hear grinding, clicking, popping, clunking, you do not do this enough. And if you're like, oh, Hope, I have a shoulder issue. I have a lot of shoulder issues, but I'll tell you what, when the muscles are tight, the arm doesn't move the way it's supposed to. So in the morning, I know this seems very amateur, but if you're not doing it, how can it help you? And unless you can give me an example of something you do during the day that you do this in, every morning, 10 times forward, 10 times back. Really, mobility and lifestyle fitness can be this simple. I'll leave you all with this. Your health matters, but you have to take an investment in it and do something about it. Your health matters. If you don't step into a different way of going about your day, soon you won't be able to step into it. Your health matters. Leave here today from the Mid-America Truck Show making a decision out of all the things you saw at this event. Your health being a priority is number one. Remember that your health matters. Thank you guys so much for being here for my presentation today. I so appreciate your time, your energy, and your effort. If you filled out one of our cards, I will send you information if you'd like to join our community and our membership site. We do have a video database for drivers. We have an app on Android and on iPhone that you can join us, access to more than 200 plus videos with things just like this. We are shooting about, I don't know, anywhere between 25 and 50 more new videos in the coming weeks that are going to be uploaded to that database. And you can always email me if you're looking for something specific, because if you have that problem, you know that some other driver does too. And that's how we create content, is for drivers submitting information just like you, saying what they need. But I'll be sending you information if you filled out one of those contact cards. But we're going to draw. So thank you to Road Pro. If you didn't fill out one of these little guys, you have about 30 seconds left to do so. We are drawing for Road Pro prizes. Road Pro has been one of my sponsors and partners for about 7 years. They are passionate about driver health, and we are giving away some goodies. So let's see what we got here. So the first one is Sandra from GHC Customs. Yeah, that's you, my friend. And so we're giving away the tumbler. Hey, Brian, do you want to make sure? Road Pro just wants a picture of everyone that won. So you can go by Brian and get your picture. Awesome, thanks. All right, we're trying to go slow so that these people can finish filling out their cards. All right. Next one we're going to draw for, we'll do the portable frying pan. So let's see here. All right, portable frying pan goes to Frank from Maine. Frank Jr. and Sons Trucking. Where's Frank? Yeah, woo! Awesome, congratulations, Frank. I only used it a few times, and it works really good. No, just kidding, I didn't. Hey, Brian, you want to grab a quick photo? Awesome. Thanks, Frank.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right. Perfect. Oh, just in time. We're drawing for, let's do the portable roaster is next. Yeah, the promise is you have to cook me something. Next winner is Tyler from Great Divide. Where's Tyler? Hey, Tyler, congratulations. All right. Tyler? Yeah, you got to act excited. Thank you so much. All right, last one we're drawing for, and then we got hats and swag as well. We got the portable lunchbox. This is my favorite. I've actually cooked with this a number of times at previous shows when I've done cooking shows, and this one is probably my ultimate favorite. So easy to use. My suggestion, make sure you buy the liners. You can bit them at any TA or any Loves as well. Let's see, I got a lot stuck together here, so let's see what we got. Sean. You won, Sean. Congratulations. All right. All right. And then we have a couple people here. We have books. We have hats. We have all sorts of fun stuff. Make sure before you leave here today, we have koozies. We have a ton of stickers from Road Pro. We have rubber stickers from our booth. If you want to come check us out in the West Wing, 69097 is our booth. We have tons of fun stuff, so come on over and check it out. If I call off your name, come up and grab a hat of your choice, and make sure before you leave that you also grab some fun swag. So we got Adam from Colorado, Puzzled Express. We got Brandon from Beacon Transport. We got Megan from Tennessee. Where's Megan at? Come on, grab a hat. We got Tracy from, is it Sperry Trucking? Awesome, come on down. We got Lucas from Kansas. Where's Lucas at? We got Jeff Clark. We got, is it Heck? Did I say that right? Awesome, come on down, grab a hat. We got hats, we got books, we grabbed some stickers. It does not have to be a hat. You can grab whatever you'd like. Yeah, you can grab one of those, absolutely. Let's see, we got, and we do have, if you like these roller balls, we have them over at our booth, 69097. We got Cheryl. We got Michelle from Ohio. We got Henry from Texas. I'm bad at last names, as you can tell. We got Joey from Virginia, Blue Ridge Transport. Thanks, Joey. We got Crystal Clark from Kentucky. And, ooh, I can't read this one. I'm not sure. Systems Transport. I can read that. So Systems Transport, come on up, grab a hat. We got Joel from Iowa Trucking Solutions Group. Thanks, Joel. We appreciate you. We're going to go till these hats are gone. We got Calvin. Thanks, Calvin. We got Chris Jones from Arkansas. John, thanks so much from Kentucky. Fox Enterprises, thanks for coming out. We got Jerry from BNJ Logistics. We appreciate you for being here. Oh, thanks, son. Awesome. We got Trista Farmer from Kentucky and Jerry from BNJ Logistics. So we got him already here. Let's see. Thanks so much, guys, for coming out. Andrea Loop from Maine. Kevin Windsor from Kentucky. Thanks so much. William Henry from Florida, owner-operator with Landstar. Just talked with them yesterday. Great people over there. Shane from Colorado, we appreciate you for being here. Awesome. And Paul Franklin, we might be able to do, they gave us enough hats here, guys. We got Roy Sanders from Kentucky. We got Mike Davis from West Virginia. Thanks so much for being here. Roy, thanks for putting the little sticker on here. Roy Flick, I can read your name. Thanks so much for doing that. I appreciate it. All right, we got Brenda from Tennessee. No matter what LLC, I like your thinking. Whoever, that is a brilliant LLC. And we got Alan Cope from Hot Shot Express. Thank Alan so much. I appreciate you. All right. And if I did not call your name, come on up, grab some swag, whatever is left over, you are welcome to grab. We appreciate you guys. Make sure you stop by our booth in the West Wing, 69097. Stop by, say hi, come get all of your pain relief and wellness wearables that you need to get onto the road to trucking. Thank you so much for your time today.